yo, we're back better than ever.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning.
Good morning to all, to you, you and yours. This is the Heyward CPA podcast, better known as Heyward CPA Live, our live stream, our bi-weekly live stream that takes place from various locations where we discuss all things BI. All things BI. BI. And whatever we come up with, because quite frankly, because we don't have a big time sponsor yet. Well, actually, we do have a big time sponsor. That would be Heyward CPA PLLC in Durham, North Carolina, 919-864-829. But you know, we kind of do it. We do it live. It's raw. It's raw to the core. So we're here today with what you see is what you get.
Excuse me, I had the sneezies this morning.
I know you got the sneezos going in. I don't know. Last episode, was I in here? I think so.
Yeah.
We got some slight renovation going on back here in the office, so it's a little hectic. So please forgive that. But like I said, we don't have no major sponsors, so except Heyward CPA and all its properties. But so what's up, man? What's good?
It's Saturday, man. Been doing business all week, right? So now, now becomes the balance, business and balance.
No doubt. Well, now you got to do the weekend business.
And then try to lay out, the activities of the week for things that, is on the to-do list too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what I mean? It's always something, man. People, I think short conversations in the last 2 weeks with somebody or someone's, what you got planned for the day? What you got planned for tomorrow? What you got planned for the weekend? And, we have schedules, our calendar appointments and things we need to do. But what I said was, when you're an entrepreneur, you don't really know. You know what you don't know, because anything can shift, right? You know what I mean? It's not like I'm gonna work today. I work from 9 to 5, 8 to 6. When I'm done, I'm done. I'm gonna go do this and do that, and then I'm off. You know what I mean? On Saturday, Sunday, go back to work, Monday type deal. It doesn't really work like that. So.
Oh yeah. It's a different thing, which once you're in it, you kind of
give it the flow. You get a flow. Yeah, correct.
You're like, oh, I need to do so and so.
Right.
Like the number of things I realize, the number of things I get done in a day, in a short period of time, it's probably way more than I ever got done when I was working.
Yeah, because you're confined to a place and hours.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, I got to get back to my naps. Keep it. Well, I'll tell you though, it was interesting. I'm reading a book. It's an audio book, of course, but I still call it reading. I'm going to pull up the name of it. Very interesting. It's my pastor actually told me about this. It's called Rest is Resistance, a manifesto, and the author is Trisha Hershey, and I believe she's a clergy member as well. And it's very interesting because her theory or her belief or her movement, her ministry, let's call it that way, is about resting. Like, we don't rest enough. The world is not at rest, so that's why we have so much unrest.
Right.
And that resting is a resistance to capitalism, to blind capitalism, and offset the white supremacy. She speaks a lot. She links it a lot to the slaves. she actually had a testimony from a slave. Like, I mean, like these folks were working. Like we can't. Well, I'll speak for myself. I'm saying I can't even fathom the amount of time they're working based on what the author said.
Right.
We talk like get up dusk when you had to be when the sun came up or right before, and sometimes it worked at midnight. So we talking like 4 a.m. to midnight type flavor.
Right, right.
And the person that they interviewed was even like, you know, either an elder or the family would bring them their lunch on spot with no lunch hour.
Okay.
Wasn't no 2 15-minute breaks for every 8 hours, was none of that. And they were not getting paid. I mean, let's be real about it. You know, which is really ironic because I say it's not ironic that they weren't getting paid because we know what it was, but it's interesting that slavery is called the original sin in America, a capitalist society, and it's usually put to the brutality. But in a capitalist society, we don't talk about the original sin of the people not getting paid.
Right.
Like we so capitalized, but we don't talk about that.
Right.
Is that not the original? Is not the sin too in America by what we stand? Anyway, so reading the book, that's why I got the nap. She has this nap ministry. She says that, and the way I'm interpreting it is, she's like, yeah, in a way I took it is like ancestors work their tail off, so we have to break out of this productivity thing, like, because that's been the history of the country for and truthfully it's for every American worker. You know, not I ain't trying to sanitize it, but what I'm saying is America, you work hard. You go, if you're not doing, you're not working. That's America.
Right.
You know, so, you know, I gotta I'm grinding. So that's what she says, grind society. That's what it is. She was like grind mentality, getting out of grinding, getting out of always hustling and moving. And this is one of the ways with this not the rest. Like we don't rest enough as people. We don't rest. Well, there's 30-minute rest just to go look at the trees, and we've talked about this before. Or just taking to the entrepreneurial part. A day in a week, a day, really, I would say every day you should sit down and think about what you want your business to look like or where you're headed. If you really should work on it every day. And the reason I say that is because it puts context into what you're doing in your day. So, because this day, I mean, life is monotonous. This is a lesson I mean, you know, at the end of the day, life is monotonous.
Yeah, it is.
You know, you wash up, some people, you know, you get your coffee, you eat breakfast, you take your medicine. And this is where the entrepreneurial or work from home issue does. You do all that, the human needs, then you're like, I need to start working. What was what you said before? What does that mean? When no one's telling you what the work is, or there's no deadline right there, what does it mean? I need to work, So I find it myself, you know, is trying to figure out like what does it mean? Like what is my, over the last 2 years, it really has been, what's my job? Like, you know, because we so predisposed to it, but it is, what's my role? Whatever you want to call it. Like, what am I supposed to be doing day in and day out to move this situation forward with all the rhetoric? You know, I got big time rhetoric. Yeah, we're going to do this and do that. What do I have to do every day consistently to do that? And so in order to do it, though, I have to sit back and think about like, well, where are we trying to go? What am I trying to get done? But there's a sense of rest in it. You know, like, I guess I take from the book, like, there's a point where you're sitting there like, you got to stop grinding. So in order to think, you have to stop doing sometimes. You know, we're not athletes. You got to say, well, wait a minute, hold up. Let me think about this. And that's what I think being great happens, is when people take time to sit and think. I mean, it's business in your life. I mean, even your career. I'm just saying, if you work career, I think we just get so wrapped up in doing that we never sit and think about what we're doing or why we're doing it.
And you're not really talking about rest in terms of the physical aspect per se. You're talking about the race that you have mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
Or a combination of all.
Well, the book, her thing is about going to sleep too. Okay. It is. I mean, it is not metaphoric. I think I'm gonna put it up here in the deal in a second, because it's interesting, but it's a short read. It's not. I think it's only 3 chapters. I think it's like the total amount is. Let me see. The total amount is like 3 hours or something like that. 3-4 hours. And it's it was interesting, and I was like, this is kind of interesting, because we're in a time now where we can do things differently, and I keep talking. I go back to this technology. We have technology, but I don't know, somehow it's put in that everything's still supposed to take as long,
right.
So I still need you to be at work 8 hours a day.
Right.
I've provided you all these tools that are supposed to be more efficient, AI, something. But I still want you to sit around my office 8 hours a day to be that's the standard. That's the work hours.
Right.
And I mean, but then what's the point of the technology? So what happens is, I think one thing that happens when people don't adopt change is out of protection. Because look, everything that comes out, from the calculator to AI, was threatening to kill civilization.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take jobs. It's going to take jobs. You know what I'm saying? So now it's AI. Oh, AI is going to do. Now it's getting a little sophisticated. There's a lot of interesting things happening there.
Oh, it is.
And I can see that. But what I will say is that at this point, we're serving people. So as long as you have people, you still got to interpret for them. Because there's oh man, all right, this might be a little controversial, but I mean, there's gonna be a point where the machine what kind of is now, gonna be head up on the people.
Yeah, talking back and taking over, no emotions, so it's able to sustain longer.
Right? I'm just saying, it's smarter.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Smarter, less, because where most high emotion logic drops, where logic is high, emotion is low. So you remove the emotional aspect with programming, and they consistently smart, right?
Yeah.
So
but let me do this. And see, this is why y'all get the best when we don't even try to plan. All we do is we just talk about what happened the whole week. I mean, it's crazy. But did I send it? This is very interesting here. I was having this conversation. It was a Pew Research deal. And I think some other people, this wasn't, TMZ research, right? That 54% of Americans read at a 6th grade level or below.
Now, I saw, so that's recent. What year was that done?
Yeah, that was recent.
Okay.
It was within the last 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But check this out, though. My friend and I, the 2023 Teacher of the Year, Kimberly Jones, I'm blowing her up because she gets up and blown up places. So
so we got to hit her with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Out here. But we were discussing it. She's an English teacher by trade, but now she's evolving to become more like a subject matter expert.
Okay.
So we looked up, and she did some things. I don't know if she used Siri or no, but basically we got this flat thing that, check this out. Over 90-something% of people graduate from high school.
Say that again.
Over 90% of Americans graduate from high school, but 54% read at below 6th grade level.
I think it went up because before it was like 4 or 5 grade level.
Yeah. But regardless, you got the reading aptitude of a 13-year-old. That's what I'm saying. So, which means that the 13-year-old may not have the reading aptitude of a 13-year-old, historically speaking.
Right.
But what I'm saying is either way, I'm just looking at the trend. That's saying that our basic education requirement, high school now, basic, you coming out, half the people in there, what did they just got passed through, or we don't read anymore.
But see, now watch this, because that's an interesting fact, and it's interesting how they put it. But I think most people know how to read, right? It's the comprehension of what they're reading, number one, because people could read, but are you comprehending what you're reading? And that's something that they don't really teach. You have singular places and individuals such as teachers and professors that teach, right? That coach people on how to comprehend what they're reading. Then you just have different, just read this and let's not even get you to understand what it is that you're reading, right? So comprehension is a true fact in terms of the reading aspect. And I think that's where we fall short as people. Now, we don't read enough. We don't vary what we read enough. And reading is almost like, do I have to carve out time to read? Yes and no. Because
it's functional.
Correct.
You gotta read. So, but what I'm saying is, I get that, the comprehension, but I'm just saying that if you sat down, what that's saying is that the way I took it was, well, and it works for here. Okay, you have to communicate at a really low level. So that's what I'm saying. Like the 5 syllables is, this is what I'm saying. I'm like, people just, it's out of here. Like they out of here. So how do you communicate to the mass? So you have to communicate that, because the news is like, they said the news. I think news is like at maybe 6th grade or 2nd grade. It's something like the newspaper is 6th grade. Like local newspapers is written pretty much like a 6th grade level. The New York Times is higher, maybe like Washington. Some of the bigger national ones, LA Times, New York Times, Atlanta Journal, Constitution might be slightly higher. But television,
I just heard a statistic that the poll was done yesterday. I heard it. 30% of the population of people believe media.
Yeah, and I believe it's more than that.
No, excuse me. Don't believe in media. 30%.
Don't believe.
Don't believe in the
media. I mean, 70% do. You know what I mean? Like, but media is the thing that, but I'm just saying, think about how your message. So for instance, I'll say for us, because right now, at this point, present time, right now, and good morning to our viewers out there. Right now, we're serving this media right now. We're sharing information. So now the brow was a little bit higher. It's only but so far down we can, stiff it out. I mean, we'll get some other ways. We'll get creative with doing it. But to reach, if we were going to reach multi-million people, like 1 million people right now, they're like, I don't know. I don't even know how we would conduct this show to do that, without it naturally, organically happening. I'm not saying there aren't a large number of people that get what we're saying, but I'm just saying mass media.
Right.
Boom. We can't, like that. Now, I know you're sitting there and you're like, what does this got to do with my business? Yeah, I don't understand. Well,
I mean, let's pause just for a moment on that question, really. Right? Because if the context of what you're talking about, and someone says, well, what does that have to do with my business or me doing business? Then that's the moniker that you probably shouldn't even be in business, because you have to. And it's interesting because I was just talking to my son last night, right? And I said, there's a statement out there that says the more you learn, for me anyway, right? The more I learn, the more I realize what I don't know, right?
Absolutely.
But when you go deeper and you get into specific, we were having a really specific conversation. And what's funny is the difference in ages between me and my son. He's a college student, and he's a very intuitive person. He asks some really heavy questions, right? But
no surprise there.
But what's interesting is the disparity, the distance from what I understand about that specific topic to where he's now learning it. And he doesn't even know, he's not even nowhere near being halfway understanding, but his intuitiveness was carrying him a lot farther, right? And so I gave him some bullet points on some things for him to go back and research so we could have a further conversation, right? And the point what I'm trying to make is that in his mind, he thought he met a destination of knowing something. You know what I mean? And so as business people, we get to a certain place and we got to learn at the next level. And we start at the bottom of that next level till we get to the top, and then we get to the new level. And we start at the bottom and we keep going. So it's a staircase effect all the way up.
Absolutely.
I yield back all day that right there. So, I just wanted to make that point.
Yeah, well, I mean, it lines up the point that I was going to. I was going to more to marketing. I was going to like, okay, this is the environment we're in. These are the folks that we're trying to talk to. So, because you always have to meet people where they are, and if okay, I'm not putting these statistics out to disparage anybody. I'm just saying these are things that people have researched and say is fact.
Right.
So, and I personally believe because of the movement of social media, the communication channels becoming communication methods shorter, short characters, texting, everything is short. Certain long form things, people just don't process it, and they're not going to process it fast. Just because we don't, our brains, our synapses are probably whatever, they're getting wide or closed, whatever it is.
Right.
So I'm saying from a marketing standpoint, when you're trying to reach out to somebody or go do something, you have to bear this in mind. Like, oh, wait a minute. So if I want to go write a white paper, but I want the target and I want a specific target to do it. Knowing their reading level is one thing, but then in finance, a lot of people are going to be at possibly third grade compared. I'm like that, so I have to bear in mind that I have to make my messages. If the general population about general subjects is reading here and comprehending, I'll add that reading and comprehending, and I'm taking a very technical subject, I had to bring it down even further because it's going to be too much. And also, I will say, what I think is interesting about that statistic, which you can go into, is that I don't necessarily think that's like, I think educated people, because once you get into the grind, back into the grind, what you're saying, how many people do you know have, like, if you poll 100 people and say, have you read more than one book this year? I mean, I would be really interested to see, like,
right.
Whatever.
Right.
Have you read a book? We don't. Once you get out of school, majority of people don't read books anymore. So you don't use it, you lose it. And so that's why, as you see, I changed the bottom here. You know how we do production meetings during the show. I think we will highlight. We're gonna highlight a book, one a week.
Yeah, matter of fact, I mean, because I can, I got a few that I went through.
That's what I say. Remember?
Yeah, next week. No, I mean, the next show.
Right, so you go next week.
I'm not dropping no base right now. You know what I mean?
No, I was about to say. That's what I said. Like, remember, we said 6th grade.
Other than my strategy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm because with everybody's seeing. So this is what I was gonna do, because we adjusting the clock today, and that might become permanent too. You never know. But I was just gonna talk about. We got all this place. I was gonna talk more about changes that, because I looked at the subjects we did. We talked fourth quarter. You talked about tax returns. We got this wonderful content that's happening. It is happening. So I wanted to kind of give people the a little update on the practice, what we're doing, why we're doing it. That was the first note I wrote down in our live production meeting. And then we started talking about resting and people reading at the 6th grade level. But I think it ties together. And so one thing, I will just give some information about this live stream podcast, whatever you want to call it. Everybody calls it. We have some upcoming great changes. Nothing, like we don't have no special guest host coming. Somebody's a little more entertaining than me. Stuff like that, which I don't really know how you can find that in this subject anyway. But we do have some interviews coming up. We are going to start interviewing people other than ourselves. Now, we've done this with great success before, but we're going to start doing interviews, get more perspective on business, because for 73, now this is the 73rd episode. For the 73 episodes, we pretty much have taken the air out the room and told you guys everything that we think about. So now we're trying to add some, we're trying to add some flavor to the stew. People who are in different phases of business too. We have a lot of experts, but I do. If anybody out there knows of any business owners that they think it would be good for us to interview and talk to tell their story, I would definitely say, go to the Facebook page, let us know. Email us, put a comment down in the video on YouTube. You probably need to make a formal. You can always send it to hello@Heyward CPA. That's our where we get the info. But yeah, we're definitely looking to have more voices on the show. If you want your voice on the show, come on here. We want to get more voices. That's what we're looking at in 25 for sure, to get more voices, because this is a conversation. The conversation has been between the two of us. And have actually stayed tuned and listened to us for 73 episodes. God bless you. I don't know how you did it, but I mean, so like that. But I believe that this is there's a very dynamic conversation that needs to involve other people, and we really should get some of the people. They may or may not be our clients. That's not the point. Get more people to talk about this, because small business, I'm not going to touch the election, but there's a chance that there's going to be a huge, a refined focus on small business. And the question is, will people be ready for it? Because whenever there's a refined focus on something, often there's this small group of people that are prepared to take advantage of it. And hereby the initiative is successful, but it doesn't reach a lot of people to make changes. Even there's just enough people for there to be a bona fide change.
Correct.
So there's a chance for that. So the small business deal here, and we talk about small business all the time here. There's a lot of room. I mean, there's a lot of discussion to be had. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of angst. There's a lot of fear. how do you deal with struggle and all that. But I think we want to expand the conversation, which will strengthen our point of views.
Correct.
Because then we'll get more information from people. So that's one thing. Then these features, like now I put it on tape, so now every week we got to come up with a book to tell our people about. So that's, I like doing it like that, because then now it's like, okay, I said it like in public, so now you can't front. So now we have to do some pre-production now. Like,
no, we don't. No, we don't, because we do it every. I mean, how many times a week do we talk about a book we reading?
Well, I say, the pre-production don't have to be the night before. I mean, the pre-production could be Monday. I'm just saying it's got to be, there's some thought to it, you know. I mean, even though it wasn't much thought to it today, but nevertheless, we're going to do more, and we may have better synapses. So those are the two of the things that I said in terms of the show that I was saying we shared. I mean, I'm sure you have a high level comment to make about the changes, and we're going to see your super interview skills. Conversation.
No.
We just gonna do it on here, man.
I don't have anything. I'm just, you know, just going with the flow. We're just trying to create some balance, man. You know what I mean? That's all. Balancing what we're doing, and be able to just spread it and bring other people in, and really just build this community of information, right? And you know, you have the village effect, right? I think, you know, we lost that as a people, period, just in general. Doesn't matter who you are. So we try to, you know, we're some OGs in a sense, right, when it comes to that. So we're just trying to,
on a certain level.
On a certain level. So we're just trying to just keep it real eye level, right, for everyone, and and have be support pillars, if you will, right? And
yes.
You know, we just bring all of the like-minded people in, even the people that are like-minded and struggling, because everyone finds a way once they see their way, right? You can't do it by yourself, right? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? So we just going to try to keep that methodology and bring it to the table. So don't be afraid to raise your hand, ask questions. Even if you want to, if you're interested in any topic, talking about yourself, your business, recommending anyone at all, and you want to talk, have a offline conversation first, reach out to us, hello@heywardcpa.com, and we can provide that for you. That's not a problem at all. But we feel comfortable. We want everyone to feel welcome, and let's just make this a thing, right? Because we do have some really big initiatives and some really big things that we're going to do here for everyone. Business.
Yeah. So that's where we are, and it's very good. You said that. Another feature that I'm actually saying this for Latasha so she can hear is on the financial flip side. We'll be back, but I think what we'll do, similar to the book thing, is we'll cover a flip side topic on this show here. And that's more about personal finance, because every business has an owner. Now, we talk about business, but then most of these businesses, the stuff goes down to the owner level. I mean, if you just for calling tax, it's on the owner level. But at the end of the day, we own these businesses, and there's a personal finance aspect at the back end that I think goes business planning too. So there's certain things that we're bringing back there. So that's good there. Then I just wanted to take a few minutes, instead of taking our 5 minute, or 2 minute advertisement at the end of the show, about where the firm is headed and some of the service lines we have involved with the firm, and how this ties all together to, it matches this podcast and what we're doing. So for 14 years. For 14 years, we've been, basically a general service CPA firm, primarily tax and accounting. Man, poor baby back there. Is that a
Yo,
dog?
it's King, man.
That was the king. Come
It's
on,
King.
you the king. You're not sounding like the king.
King
like,
is. I don't know what
he's having a hard time.
Yeah, man.
He's having a hard time.
He is. I think I just went outside, like, you know, and we talking about the dog people. He's a little dog, right? But he's bugging.
Rough time. It's hard for the king. So, but you know, we've been general service, providing service, and we've always shared information, a lot of information with our clients, and you know, told people. But we're formalizing it now. We're moving to be positioned as an advisory firm, and providing guidance to you on your journey, basically business journey. And that's kind of what we're doing. So we rolled out, we've mentioned these things, but we rolled out these service lines, one of which you've heard, BYOB, or Be Your Own Bookkeeper, which is a managed client situation for handling bookkeeping, especially people that are just starting out, people that are relatively small, people that are single, you know, like if you have under 5 employees or something, you kind of can rock with it. But the whole intent of the program is to leverage technology so that business owners can get their books done, and not only that, understand what's happening, so you can learn the story of your business. That's it. It's imperative for you to understand what those numbers are telling you, because there's a story behind these numbers. It's cute because people learn and we say, oh, my P&L. They never talk about the balance sheet, but the real story is in the balance sheet. But people like to say, my P&L, you know. I love it too, because especially I get it all the time, because no one wants to seem like they don't know what they're talking about. So then they start throwing terms at me, and I'm sitting there like, you know, like, just from my conversation, I probably know more about your P&L than without looking at it, but man, it's whatever. But the purpose of the program is not to turn you into a professional bookkeeper or an accountant. It's for you to be able to have a, as I like to say, more intimate relationship with the numbers, the accounting. We use it, so we're using accounting data to advise. So that's, and BYOB is something, you know, is managed. We train you, we watch, you know, we watch over you, and we meet with you on a quarterly basis to discuss your story. And so what that also does is it branches to another service line we have, which you've heard us say in passing, which is biz therapy. Now let me give you my because if I let him talk, y'all gonna have to pull a thesaurus out to understand. No, nah, that thesaurus are too many words. I don't know how you're gonna figure out what he's saying, but let me tell you about biz therapy. So this gentleman right here, if it comes down to it, he has a lot of empathy for especially new business owners. Not saying that I don't, but he has a different type of empathy than I do, you know. So I mean, at the end of the day, I am a bean counter. So he has a lot of empathy for it. And what we've discovered is that, and part of the reason we do the podcast, is that it's very lonely. Entrepreneurship is lonely. Like, it really is lonely. Like, when you get into it, it's lonely. Like, you know, your friends, your family, they want you to do well, but the conversations you can have with them are limited, especially when you face challenges. So when it's all good, everybody wants to talk. Hey, you know, what's up? Where are we going out to eat and all that? But when things aren't as good, well, you know, I don't know nothing about that, man. That's why I never started a business. That's on you. So who do you talk to? Even your spouse or your partner, because there's a little bit of trepidation from them. You know, it's like, I'm supporting you and all that, but wait a minute, you talking about you haven't collected on this invoice for this number of days, and so now I'm going to start running down the rabbit hole. Like, what does that mean here? What's going on there? Well, so what biz therapy is we like I said, he got the programmatic side. I'm just gonna let you do your own video for it. So it's programmatic. But what I'm saying at the core of it is to have a coach. It's business coaching, but it's also having a relationship with somebody that's looking to see you succeed, have experienced a lot of the challenges you're talking about, non-judgmental and solution-based, and saying, okay, this happened. Let's talk about it. And what you have, I'm doing a great commercial for you right now, is you have a systematic approach to doing it. So it's things are written, things are documented, things are there to get you out. Or even if you don't have a problem, how do I get started? How do you go here? It's about how do you overcome the emotional barriers that being in business presents, and being there with somebody that can, I want to see you win. So we have that, but I'm not going to judge you. And I'm saying he's the chief coach. If I show up, there's something else going on, right? That's like that. But I'm working on my pitch here. So it's somebody else to come in and say, look, and he has a real live system, by the way. He has a lot of systems. That's why we have to pare it down. He has plenty of systems for you to get it. But all jokes aside, being able to get you, talk, meet you where you are. And say where you are. It's a great program, and we're still, we're working on it. We've had people go through it. We're working on it, but it's part of the community thing that we talk about. It's going to build a community out of that, both of them, BYOB and Biz Therapy. Communities are going to rise out of this. They're going to rise because we're talking about services that share information. They're here to make our, to paraphrase, we're trying to build up business owners. I want to build you up. Because if you're built up, your business will be better. You might hire more people. And then you can get into this whole other sociological theory I have about small businesses hiring other people. Not doing that today because we short on time. So I'm going to defer because those are the two programs, but that's what we're gonna talk a lot more about this stuff coming up in the new year. This is our fourth quarter planning meeting, and we just invited you in to watch it with us, to watch us do it. This is our planning meeting. So, but I am going to, yield the rest of the time to my man and everybody. So pull up your phone and get your dictionary and thesaurus ready, because he is going to give it to you on a high level. So I defer, my friend. It's on you.
I can't even top that. I mean, that was great. I mean, what you could see here is that he obviously sits in and participates in the biz therapy sessions. And this is an example. This is somewhat of an example of some biz therapy, right? So I mean, there's no topping it, right? He has his way. I have my way. We have synergy, and we make it happen. But we spend a lot. We spend a lot of time. We spend a lot of time talking about what is it. What are the needs of the people? What are the challenges of the people? And we're not just talking about something you could go in the store and take off a shelf. We're not talking about an Amazon order. We're not talking about anything like that. We're really talking about some real pain points. I'm talking about when you wake up in the morning, not a scenario like what am I doing today? Or why did I do this or whatever. I mean, there's thoughts that we have when you say lonely, there's thoughts that we have that we don't realize that we have. And sometimes they don't even come full surface as a thought. They actually go through our body, right? Mm-hmm. It goes through our body and comes out at the other end at another time. Mm-hmm. And you'll realize that when you're sitting in a room, it really comes to you when you're sitting in a room with either significant other, family members, or friends. Your mind is going as a business owner and a surface level topic comes up amongst the people or within that person you're talking to, but you're not on a surface level. You're deeper than that. And you're trying to communicate or have a conversation, and they don't understand the thing you're saying. They're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I understand. But they don't really get it. And you're now trapped within yourself, like, I need somebody to get this. This got to make sense some way, somehow. And so biz therapy lends itself to an environment of communication, understanding. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's figure it out, right? Yeah, so there's some ideas, some great ideas. There's definitely systems. There's definitely an approach, because I like to get things done for the most part, right?
Yeah.
And so
I mean, it's excellent. That's excellent.
I yield.
You yield.
I yield.
I know back. We're gonna. Told us we have to move swiftly today, so we're gonna get ready to sign off, people. Can you believe that? But that was a thorough 45 minutes, though.
Yes, it was, though. We
kind of great,
right? And we didn't even talk until like 5 minutes before.
I know this is impressive. That's why I said we might be on a precipice. Big shouts to you know who on the precipice of a new format. You never know.
No doubt.
So, but that being said, please reach out to us, heywardcpa.com, and check us out. You'll get more information on all the biz therapy and BYOB there. And follow us on our socials. We on Twitter, but Facebook page. We got to do a little bit more in there. Go to the Facebook page if you have any comments or questions or anything. Definitely go post them on the Facebook page, LinkedIn page as well. We have 2 pages for you to get with us. And hey, in 2 weeks will be November, huh? Wow, it'll be November. Oh, it's the Saturday before the election. Oh, the election show. Oh my. I think let me yes. It will be November 2nd. Stay tuned. It's going down. So the election special, we're gonna have to talk about it, man. So we'll talk about the effects on business. We'll do a little research there. And I'm good. Have a good Saturday. We gotta run. Thank you. Chug up the deuce. Peace.